You think you have reached the bottom. You are in the darkest part of the ocean, far below the last trace of sunlight, with miles of water pressing above you. And then your feet finally touch something cold and solid. For one brief moment, your body relaxes. Because every falling thing wants a place where the fall ends. Humans gave this place a name, the seafloor. We drew it on maps. We measured it with machines. We imagined it as the final line of the ocean, the place where everything sinking through the dark eventually comes to rest. But the deep sea does not care what we call it. And down here, in this pressure and this darkness, a floor can be an illusion. At first, nothing seems wrong. Your light moves slowly across the surface beneath your feet. It looks pale and uneven, like sediment that has collected over thousands of years. It has the soft, dusty texture of an old seabed. Then the surface shifts. Only slightly, a small movement beneath your feet, gentle enough that you could almost blame the current. But the current is not moving like that. The surface gives again. This time, the movement spreads outward in a slow circle, and the entire patch of ground seems to respond to your weight. That is when the safety leaves your body. The place beneath you is not behaving like stone. It is behaving like something sleeping under pressure. You look closer. What seemed like sediment is packed with small, pale shapes pressed tightly together. They are so dense, so still, and so covered in the dust of the deep that from above they looked like a continuous floor. But this is not ordinary ground. It is a living surface, built in complete darkness by countless tiny bodies holding together at the edge of the abyss. It was never meant to hold you. The layer begins to loosen. There is no sudden explosion, no dramatic crack racing across the seabed. It is worse because it happens slowly. A dark seam appears beneath your feet. The creatures and soft material around it begin to separate, almost reluctantly, as if the deep itself is opening a wound it had kept closed for a very long time. The seam widens. Your left foot slips first, then your right. The floor does not break under you like rock. It simply stops pretending to be solid. Your body sinks through the opening before your mind has time to understand what has happened. For a moment, the torn surface rises around you like a pale ceiling. The hole above narrows. The edges fold inward. The last glimpse of the false seabed closes over you, and now the floor is above you. You are underneath the place where the ocean was supposed to end. You have not fallen to the bottom. You have fallen through it. The fear arrives slowly, because everything down here is slow. There is no rush of air, no sudden drop, no wind against your face. Your body sinks through the water with a heavy, dreamlike delay, and that delay gives the mind too much time to understand what has just been taken away. The ocean has removed the idea of stopping. Your muscles are still waiting for resistance. Your body keeps expecting another surface to appear beneath you, something hard enough to explain the fall. But the darkness below does not explain anything. It simply continues. At first, you try to imagine the space as a room. The sealed, false floor above becomes a ceiling in your mind. The darkness around you becomes invisible walls. Somewhere below, you imagine another surface waiting. But the deeper you go, the less useful that picture becomes. A room belongs to creatures that stand on something. Down here, there is no standing. There is only suspension. You are inside pressure, distance, and black water that has never known the sun. Small particles drift through your light. At first, they look like dust. Then you realize they are pieces of the upper world falling slowly into this one. Fragments of dead plankton, broken shells, soft organic matter, and the remains of tiny lives that once floated far above you in water touched by sunlight. The upper ocean produces life quickly. The deep ocean receives what is left. Everything that dies above eventually begins a long, quiet descent. This is marine snow. It falls through the dark for days, weeks, sometimes longer, carrying the memory of sunlight into places where sunlight will never arrive. For a while, the sight is almost peaceful, a pale snowfall in black water. Then your light catches movement inside it. A tiny body turns. Something transparent folds itself around a falling fragment. Another shape appears for half a second, takes what it needs, and vanishes back into the dark. The snow is not drifting through emptiness. It is being used. The entire water column is alive with small hunger, slow feeding, and silent attention. This is the first thing the false floor was hiding from you. The darkness below it is not empty space. It is a vertical world, a place where life does not need ground, where creatures hang in layers, waiting for the upper ocean to send down its remains. You keep sinking. The false seabed is now too far above to see. The particles move around you like weather made from dead things. Your own light feels smaller with every meter. Then something glows below you. It is faint at first, just a soft point in the dark. Your body wants to believe it has found another surface, another end to the descent. But as you approach, the glow separates into many small points. They drift apart, gather again, and rearrange themselves around your path. Living lights. A loose swarm of deep-sea animals suspended in the black. Their bodies are almost invisible except for the signals they produce. Some blink and disappear. Some burn softly for several seconds before fading. Others flash in strange patterns that feel deliberate, even though they belong to a language you cannot read. In the deep ocean, light is not comfort. It is survival. It can attract prey, confuse predators, hide a body from below, or send a warning through water that has never held daylight. The swarm opens as you pass through it. The animals move with no urgency. They do not panic, and that calmness makes them feel less like visitors and more like part of the ocean's machinery. For a few seconds, you are surrounded by stars that are not stars. Then they close behind you. The lights fade upward. The dark becomes complete again. You are not alone down here. You were never alone. The abyss only seemed empty because most of its life was waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The next part of the descent is quieter. Your panic begins to change shape. At first, fear came in sharp waves every time the world failed to behave like a world. Now it becomes wider and more distant. Your body cannot stay at the edge of terror forever. Eventually, even fear becomes heavy. You sink with your arms slightly away from your sides. There is nothing to grab, nothing your hands can use to prove where you are. Then the old falling sensation returns. Not the fall of a body moving through air, but the strange internal drop that sometimes happens just before sleep. The invisible step. The sudden slip that wakes you because some ancient part of your nervous system believes you have fallen from safety. That alarm belongs to a body that once needed branches, cliffs, and hard ground. But down here, the alarm has no target. The ground has already failed. Your body rotates slightly in the water. The faint particles above you and the darkness below you trade places for a moment. Your stomach tightens as your sense of direction disappears. You try to correct yourself. The movement makes the rotation worse. So you stop. You let the spin slow on its own. And slowly, terribly, the ocean becomes steady again. Not safe, steady. That difference matters down here. Because the deep sea can feel calm while it is still taking you farther away from everything human. The water changes before you see anything. A colder layer moves across your skin. Your descent slows for a few seconds, as if the ocean beneath you has become thicker. There is no visible wall, no line in the water, but your body knows it has entered a boundary. The ocean is not one simple mass. It is stacked into hidden layers shaped by temperature, salt, pressure, and chemistry. From the surface, it looks like a single blue world. Inside it, there are invisible thresholds everywhere. Some layers hold food, some hold animals. Some redirect currents across entire basins. Some are so different from the water around them that crossing them feels like entering another ocean. The deep does not need walls to divide itself. It can build doors out of water. You pass through the boundary slowly. For a moment, your body seems to hang between two states of the sea. The water above feels lighter. The water below feels colder, denser, and more still. Then gravity, pressure, and your own weight decide for you. You sink into the lower layer. The world changes again. Particles fall more slowly here. Sounds seem duller, almost absorbed before they can travel. Even your light feels less powerful, as if the darkness has become thicker around it. Ahead of you, a wide gray shape appears. You do not trust it. The shape spreads across the black, soft and uneven, like a field of pale dust resting in the deep. Another floor, or something pretending to be one. You approach it with the caution of a mind that has already been tricked once. As your light crosses the gray field, the surface trembles. A thin limb withdraws into the sediment. A small mouth closes. Something pale folds itself away from the beam. Then more movement appears. Not one creature, a whole hidden community working under the soft layer. The marine snow has gathered here, and the deep has turned it into food. The surface is quiet only because everything is happening slowly. Tiny animals are feeding beneath it. Others wait inside it. Some bodies are almost transparent, built so delicately that they seem less like flesh than a temporary shape in the water. Stillness down here does not mean nothing is happening. It usually means the process is too slow for the human eye to respect. The deep sea does not waste death. It receives what falls, breaks it down, and gives it back to life in forms so small and patient that they look like silence. You drift just above the pale field. For one moment, you imagine touching it, pressing your hand into the soft layer to see if there is anything solid underneath. The thought disappears almost immediately. You have already learned what happens when you trust a surface in this place, so you let yourself continue. The gray field thins beneath you. Patches of sediment give way to open blackness. The almost floor ends, and once again, there is nothing below you but more descent. This time the loss does not shock you. It confirms something. The ocean has a pattern. It offers surfaces because your brain needs them. Then it takes them away. After that, the fall becomes quieter again. You notice the pressure more than the fear now. You notice the slow pull of the water. You notice that your thoughts have begun to stretch out, as if they too are sinking. Then the darkness below reflects your light. At first, it is only a faint shine. Then the shine becomes a line. As you descend, the line widens into a flat, dark surface resting inside a basin. It is impossibly still. Too smooth for the ocean. Too black to be ordinary water. It looks like a lake beneath the sea. Your descent slows above it. The water under you seems to push back, not like a floor, but like a denser world refusing to mix with the one above. The edge of the basin becomes clearer. Around it, pale shapes lie motionless. Fish, crabs, small deep-sea bodies caught in strange positions near the black surface. They are not feeding. They are not hiding. They are simply still. You have reached a lake inside the ocean, a brine pool, a body of water so salty, dense, and chemically hostile that it settles beneath the sea like a separate liquid world. To animals adapted to the deep ocean, it can still be deadly. A creature can cross that black surface and never come back. Not because something attacks it, because the water itself is wrong for life. A lake that can drown animals already living under miles of water. You hover above it. The surface reflects your light in a dull, dark shimmer. For a second, your own distorted shape appears beneath you, stretched across the black pool like another person waiting below. Then the reflection bends, and the illusion fades. Your body wants to believe this is an ending. After the false floor, the living snow, The swarm of lights, the invisible boundary, and the feeding sediment. This dark lake feels like a final surface. But you know better now. Down here, a surface is rarely an answer. More often, it is an invitation. The water above you is dark. The water beneath you is darker. Every layer you crossed has sealed into silence behind you. The lake does not move. It waits with a stillness that feels almost deliberate. The first part of the descent is over. The floor opened. The ocean continued. And now the deep has brought you to something worse than falling, a place calm enough to make you trust it. In the next part, we enter the lake beneath the ocean. The lake beneath the ocean should not be there. That is the first thing your mind cannot accept. You are already under miles of water. You have already fallen through the place that was supposed to be the seafloor. You have already crossed the dark, the living snow, the hidden lights, and the invisible layers of the deep. And still, beneath you, there is another surface. Black, smooth, perfectly still. It lies inside the basin like a piece of night poured into the ocean. There is no sky above it. There are no waves. There is only your small light touching the surface and coming back dull, distorted, and weak. You drift closer. The water above the lake feels different now. It pushes against you gently, as if the deep sea is asking one last time whether you really want to cross. The black surface does not ripple like normal water. It holds itself together. That is what makes it feel wrong. You are looking at a lake inside the sea, a body of water so dense and salty that it refuses to mix with the ocean around it. A brine pool. From above, it almost looks peaceful. That is the danger. The edge of the pool becomes clearer as you descend. Around it, pale shapes lie scattered in the sediment. At first, they look like stones. Then your light moves closer. They are bodies, small fish, crabs, deep-sea animals that came too close to the black surface and never left it. Some are lying on their sides. Some are half buried. One fish rests with its mouth open, as if it tried to rise at the last second and failed. There is no blood, no torn flesh, no sign of a struggle. That is what makes the place feel colder. Nothing here looks attacked. Everything looks claimed. The pool did not chase them. It waited. A creature crosses the edge, enters the heavy brine, and suddenly the water around its body is wrong. Too salty, too dense, too low in oxygen, in some places, filled with chemicals that can overwhelm animals already adapted to the deep. The animal tries to turn back, but the water is heavier than the world it came from. The surface above is close, but close is not the same as reachable. The body slows, the muscles fail. The lake receives it without moving. You hover above the black surface and watch tiny particles fall from the ocean above. Some touch the boundary and pause. A few slide sideways, as if they have landed on glass. Others sink through and vanish. The lake has a skin, a border so sharp that the water above and the water below behave like separate worlds. Your feet reach it first. There is no hard impact, only resistance. The surface bends under you, slow and dark, pressing back with a density that almost feels solid. For a moment, your body wants to trust it. It feels like a floor, and after everything that has happened, some desperate part of you still wants the ocean to offer a place to stop. Then the surface gives way. The black water closes around your legs, then your waist, then your chest. You pass through the boundary as if entering another atmosphere. The change is immediate. Your body feels heavier. Your movements slow down. Your light weakens, as if the brine is swallowing it before it can travel. Above you, the lake surface becomes a ceiling, a dark mirror stretched overhead. Through it, the ocean you came from looks blurred and distant. For the second time in this descent, something that looked like a floor has become the thing above you. You are under the lake now. inside water that should have been impossible. The basin slopes down around you. Its sides are coated in pale bacterial mats, soft-looking sheets of life that tremble faintly in the current. They do not look like animals. They look older than animals, closer to chemistry than movement. At the rim of the pool, life gathers carefully. Small mussels cling to the edge. Pale worms move near the chemical border. Other tiny shapes live close enough to feed from what the brine releases, but not so close that the water kills them. Everything here understands the line. Everything stays near the edge. You are the only thing that crossed it. That is the first milestone of this part. The lake is not only a graveyard, it is also a border city. Life has built itself around a place that can kill it. The deep ocean does this often. It grows beside vents, around methane seeps, under ice, and along chemical edges where ordinary life should not work. Down here, danger is not always avoided. Sometimes it becomes the source of energy. Your light moves across the living rim of the pool, and for a few seconds the place becomes almost beautiful. Then the beauty fades as the basin deepens. The black water thickens around you. The living edge disappears above and behind. Below there is less movement, fewer particles, no drifting lights, no falling snow. The brine has filtered the world into stillness. You sink toward the darker center of the pool. The bottom appears slowly, a smooth, shadowed floor inside the lake. This time you do not trust it. Your light reaches the sediment and reveals more bodies. A crab lies on the slope below you, one claw lifted slightly from the mud. It looks almost alert, almost alive, until the light shows the film covering its shell. A small fish hangs just above the sediment, caught in the denser layer, turning so slowly that it seems suspended between sinking and being preserved. Farther ahead, another body is half buried, its outlines softened by bacteria and time. This is the underwater graveyard. But it is not dramatic. That is what makes it worse. It is quiet, organized by chemistry, maintained by water that does not need violence to be lethal. The dead are not scattered randomly. Some have gathered along subtle slopes and low channels, as if the lake has been slowly arranging them. You drift lower. The sediment rises in a faint, dark cloud beneath you, then settles almost immediately. Even disturbance is muted here. The brine takes movement and makes it heavy. You turn back toward the surface overhead. It is not far. You can still see the black mirror above you, but the distance feels wrong. Your body understands now that upward is no longer simple. To leave, you must push through water that resists you, reach the boundary, and cross back into the lighter ocean above. The way out is visible. That makes it more frightening, not less, because the trapped animals probably saw it too. Your light catches a narrow depression in the basin floor. At first, it looks like a crack in the sediment. Then you notice movement. A slow current is sliding through it. The heavy brine is flowing along the bottom, carrying dark particles with it. It moves around stones, over dead bodies, and into a channel that leads away from the center of the pool. The graveyard is not still. It is draining. Very slowly, very quietly. The dead are being moved deeper. That is the second milestone. This is not just a lake. It is part of a system. The channel ahead is lined with pale bacterial growth. Small colonies cling to the rim, feeding from the chemistry that leaks through the water. The current moves past them with terrible patience. A fish body drifts ahead of you. It is not swimming. It is being carried. For several seconds it stays within the reach of your light, turning gently in the black water. Then the channel bends, and the body disappears around the curve. You do not want to follow. But the current already has you. Not strongly enough to feel like an attack, just enough that every small correction comes too late. You angle your body away from the channel. The brine resists. Your movement slows before it becomes useful. The dense water makes your own body feel delayed. as if your intentions are arriving after the ocean has already decided where you are going. The black ceiling above grows farther away. The channel draws you forward. Its sides rise slightly around you, not high like canyon walls, but enough to guide the water and everything inside it. You pass into the depression. The bottom is darker here, almost glossy where the brine has polished the sediment. Your light touches the walls and reveals more pale growth, more soft mats, more signs that life has learned to feed beside the drain. That detail is disturbing in a quieter way. Even here, beside the slow movement of toxic water and dead bodies, life has found a way to wait. The deep does not separate horror from habitat. It lets them share the same edge. The channel opens into a second hollow. The current slows. Your light spreads across the basin floor and finds only a few bodies this time, spaced apart in the dark. Enough to show that the system continues. Enough to suggest there may be more hollows below this one. A first pool, a channel, another basin. The ocean floor was not the end. The brine lake was not the end. Even the graveyard has a continuation. You drift close to the bottom of the hollow. Then the sediment releases a line of bubbles. They rise slowly through the brine, silver and trembling in your light. One passes near your face, then slows beneath the black boundary above and slides sideways instead of escaping. Even the bubbles cannot leave easily. That is the third milestone. This place catches more than bodies. It catches movement. It catches gas. It catches the natural upward pull of things that should rise. The earth is leaking through the seabed beneath you. Methane, salt, old fluids, trapped chemicals forced upward through sediment and pressure. The brine pool is only the visible part. Under it, the planet is still working, quietly, slowly, without needing to be seen. A low vibration passes through the water. You stop moving. It is not loud. It is not sudden, but it comes from below, through the sediment, and into your chest. Another line of bubbles lifts from the basin floor. A patch of bacterial mat rises, shivers, and settles back down. Somewhere beneath this lake, pressure is shifting. For the first time, the brine pool no longer feels like a strange feature on the seabed. It feels connected to something underneath the seabed, a hidden plumbing system beneath the ocean. Cracks, seeps, buried salt, trapped gases, chemical fluids moving through darkness over immense stretches of time. You are not simply under the ocean now. You are inside the place where the planet enters the sea. The thought arrives slowly, and once it does, the basin feels much larger. The black lake above you, the channel behind you, the bubbles rising from below, the pale colonies along the edge. They are all part of one system. A system that does not care whether you understand it before it carries you farther in. The current returns from below. Cold water pushes through the hollow and lifts sediment into your light. The world disappears. For a moment, there is no channel, no ceiling, no graveyard. Only a dark cloud moving around your body, thick enough that your own hand becomes unclear in front of you. Your breathing grows louder. The panic is different now. In the first part, the fear was falling. Here, the fear is being kept. Held inside the wrong kind of water. Surrounded by a chemistry that does not hate you, does not hunt you, and does not know you are there. The cloud begins to thin. The black ceiling returns above you, closer than expected. For one strange second, it feels as if the lake has turned upside down, and the surface overhead is the real floor. Your mind tries to build a map. It fails. The brine pool has too many layers. The graveyard below, the ceiling above, the channel behind, the current ahead, the planet breathing underneath. Nothing here gives you a stable direction. You rise slowly toward the boundary. The dense water fights every movement. Your arms push through it with heavy delay. Your body lifts, then slows, then lifts again. The black ceiling trembles as you approach. On the other side is the lighter ocean, the place you came from. It should feel like escape, but through the distorted surface, that ocean looks just as dark as everything else. The lake has changed your sense of safety. Now, even leaving it feels like entering another trap. Your hand breaks through first. The sensation is sharp and strange, like passing through a membrane. The water above feels thinner around your fingers, almost unreal after the weight of the brine. You pull upward. The dense water clings to your body. For a moment, you are caught between the lake and the sea, half inside the black brine, half inside the open ocean above. Then the surface releases you. You pass back into the lighter water. The lake falls beneath you and immediately becomes calm again. Its surface closes. The reflection smooths. Nothing in it suggests that you were ever inside. That is the fourth milestone. The deep ocean hides its violence behind stillness. From above, the brine pool looks peaceful enough to trust. A black lake, a clean edge, a quiet basin. But under that surface are bodies, channels, trapped gases, chemical borders, and currents that move the dead into deeper hollows. The worst part is not that the lake is deadly. The worst part is that it looks calm. You drift away from the basin. The living rim fades behind you. The pale bodies around the edge become small. The black surface shrinks into the darkness until it is only a dull patch far below. For a while, nothing happens. And because nothing happens, your body begins to relax. That is how the ocean gets close to you again. Not with shock, with quiet. With enough stillness to make your mind lower its guard. The surrounding seafloor slopes gently at first. Low ridges pass beneath you. Pale sediment gathers in soft patches. A few small animals move at the edge of your light and vanish. Everything seems almost ordinary for the deep. Then the slope ends. Ahead, the ground drops away into a wide black opening. No crack, no collapse, no sudden movement. The seafloor simply stops being useful. Beyond the edge, the water falls into a darkness too broad for your light to measure. You stop near the rim. Behind you is the lake beneath the ocean. Below you is another descent. Above you are the layers you crossed before, sealed into silence. For the first time, you understand that the ocean is not shaped like a deep room. It is not one downward path. It is a maze made of water, chemistry, pressure, and false surfaces. Every time you think you have reached a boundary, the boundary becomes another passage. You drift over the drop. There is no floor to break this time, no lake to enter, no surface to mistake for safety. The world simply loses shape. Your body begins to rotate slowly in the open water. This time, you do not fight it. The brine pool has changed what you fear. After the false floor, you were afraid of falling. After the lake, you are afraid of stopping. Because now you know that the open abyss is not always the most dangerous place in the deep. Sometimes the danger is the place that looks still enough to rest. The current carries you away from the basin. The last glow from the brine pool disappears. There is no clear up anymore, no reliable down, only the slow turning of your body and the black water widening around you. The second part of the descent is over. You entered the lake beneath the ocean. You crossed the graveyard inside it. You escaped its black surface. But the lake has taken something from you. Not your body, not yet. It has taken your trust in direction. In the next part, up and down begin to die. The brine pool disappears behind you. For a while, you keep expecting to feel relief. You escaped the black lake beneath the ocean. You crossed its graveyard, passed through its heavy water, and broke back into the open sea. But the feeling does not come. The water around you is lighter now, easier to move through, less dense than the poisoned lake below. And still, something feels worse. Because the lake gave you a surface, a dangerous one, a false one, but a surface all the same. Now even that is gone. There is only open water again. No rim, no basin, no black mirror beneath you. Only distance in every direction. Your body continues drifting away from the brine pool, carried by a current too slow to fight and too steady to ignore. The last faint shine from the lake fades into the dark until you cannot tell whether it is behind you, below you, or only a memory your mind is still trying to use as a landmark. Then the rotation begins again, slow at first, gentle enough that you almost let it happen without noticing. The particles in your light move sideways. Then they seem to rise. Then they drift past your face at an angle that makes no sense. Your body turns. The darkness turns with it. For a few seconds, the whole ocean loses its arrangement. The place you thought was below becomes the place beside you. The direction you came from slides somewhere behind your shoulder. Your light reaches forward, but forward no longer feels like a real direction. This is the first change of the final descent. Up and down begin to die quietly. Not all at once, not like a switch. They fade the way a dream fades when you wake, leaving behind the feeling that something important was there, but no clear shape to hold on to. On land, direction is simple because the world keeps reminding you. The ground pulls your feet. The sky pulls your eyes. Walls, trees, roads, horizons, shadows, rain. All of them tell the body how to organize itself. Even in darkness, the body remembers gravity through the weight of its own bones. But down here, gravity is too quiet. The water holds you from every side. Pressure touches your body evenly. Darkness removes the horizon. The current moves without showing its source. Your inner ear searches for the old rules. The ocean gives it almost nothing. So your brain begins to negotiate with the dark. It chooses a direction and calls it down. Then the current changes, and that choice fails. It chooses another. That one fails too. After a while, the mind stops choosing. You are no longer falling in the way you understood falling before. You are being carried through a place where falling has lost its usual meaning. The old fear returns, but softer now. The sleep fall. The sudden internal drop that lives just before dreaming. Except this time, the jolt does not wake you. There is nowhere to wake into. Only the same black water, the same slow motion, the same enormous silence waiting on every side. A faint glow appears ahead. You turn toward it instinctively. After so much darkness, any light becomes a promise. It grows as you drift closer, but it does not look like the swarm from before. This glow is wider, blurrier, spread through the water like a pale cloud. For a moment, it resembles fog. Then shapes begin to move inside it. Long, transparent bodies, tiny, flashing organs, soft animals with no hard edges, drifting in loose formation through the dark, a deep scattering layer. A migrating community suspended in the water, neither attached to a floor nor belonging to a surface. Some of these animals rise toward shallower depths at night. Some sink again as light returns above. Their lives are built around vertical movement through an ocean they experience as levels of pressure, hunger, and risk. To them, up and down are not philosophical problems. They are survival. But you cannot read their map. You only see a pale living cloud turning slowly in the dark. The animals move past you from what feels like below to what feels like above. But your body is still rotating, and the direction keeps changing. For a few seconds, it looks as if the whole swarm is climbing sideways through the sea. Then the glow surrounds you. Soft bodies pass through the edge of your light and vanish. Some are so clear that you only see them when they bend the water. Others flash once, enough to reveal a mouth, an eye, a fin, then disappear again into transparency. They are not dramatic. That is what makes them feel real. No attack, no sudden motion, just life continuing through a vertical world that does not need your understanding. You drift through the cloud and realize something unsettling. These creatures belong here because they know how to move without land. Their bodies are built for this uncertainty. Yours is not. Your mind still wants a floor because your body was designed by a world with surfaces. The deep sea was not. The glow thins behind you. The water darkens again. For a while, there is no feature large enough to hold your attention. Only particles, pressure, and the slow turn of your own body. That is when time begins to change. Not in a supernatural way, in a bodily way. Without direction, without landmarks, without a clear sense of motion, minutes stop feeling separate from one another. The descent becomes continuous, a single long moment stretched through black water. You try to remember the order of what happened. The false floor, the living snow, the lights, the invisible boundary, the brine lake, the graveyard, the channel. Each memory feels real, but distant, as if it belonged to someone else who entered the ocean long before you. The deeper you go, the more the surface world becomes difficult to believe. Sunlight begins to feel like a story. Air feels impossible. A normal room, with a ceiling and furniture and warm light, feels stranger than the abyss. This is the second change of the final descent. The ocean is no longer becoming alien. You are. A current catches you from the side. It does not push hard, but it is broad and steady, and within seconds your body begins moving with it. The water around you carries small particles in the same direction, all of them gliding together through the dark. You are inside a river with no banks, a current hidden in the open sea. From the surface, humans imagine the ocean as a single body of water, but the deep is full of moving layers. Slow rivers travel through it, shaped by temperature, salt, density, pressure, and the pull of the planet's rotation. Some currents cross entire ocean basins without ever touching daylight. Some carry cold water from the poles into the deep. Some move so slowly that a human life is too short to feel their full journey. You have entered one of them. There is no edge to grab, no shore to reach, only the quiet certainty that the water has chosen a direction for you. For a while, the current feels almost gentle. After the brine pool, movement is better than stillness. After the graveyard, being carried feels almost like escape. But then you notice what the current is doing. It is not taking you upward. It is taking you away from every place where upward still made sense. The false seafloor is gone. The brine pool is gone. The living cloud is gone. Now even your own descent has been absorbed into a larger motion. You are no longer falling through the ocean. You are part of the ocean's movement. That should be calming. Some part of it is. But there is another truth beneath the calm. Things that become part of the deep do not leave quickly. A dead plankton fragment may take weeks to fall. A water mass may take centuries to return to the surface. A chemical signal may travel through darkness long after the creature that made it is gone. The deep sea keeps time differently. It does not hurry because it does not need to. The current carries you into colder water. Your light catches a field of suspended particles ahead, dense enough to look like a veil. You pass into it, and the world becomes close again. The particles move around you in the same direction, glowing briefly as they cross your beam. For a moment, it feels like moving through a snowstorm. Then the current lifts. Not upward exactly, it tilts. Your body follows the water, and the particles around you begin rising relative to your light. The sensation is deeply wrong. Your stomach expects descent, but the visual field suggests ascent. Your inner ear cannot settle the disagreement. Up tries to return. Down argues with it. Neither wins. This is the third change. Direction does not vanish into chaos. It becomes negotiable. A temporary agreement between your body, your eyes, and the moving water. Down here, the ocean can change that agreement whenever it wants. You close your eyes. For a few seconds, the darkness becomes complete. Without sight, there is only pressure and the slow movement of the current against your body. The fear lessens. Then it changes into something quieter. A strange acceptance begins at the edge of your mind. Not peace, not safety, something closer to surrender. The kind of surrender that comes when the body realizes it cannot make the world smaller. You open your eyes again. The veil of particles is thinning. Ahead, the water is darker, but there is a faint shape far below or far in front of you. It is difficult to tell. A wide shadow stretches through the darkness, too large to understand at once. As you drift closer, the shadow becomes a slope, a vast underwater wall descending into blackness. It might be the side of a trench. It might be a collapsed edge of some ancient geological structure. It might be another boundary that only looks solid because your mind is desperate for geometry. Your light touches part of it. Rock appears. Real rock. Dark, rough, and enormous. For the first time in a long while, the ocean offers something that does not move like water or softness or life. A wall of the planet itself. You drift beside it, and its scale is hard to process. Your light reveals only a few meters at a time. The rest continues above, below, and beyond the beam, disappearing into darkness too large to measure. At first, the rock comforts you. It proves the world still has structure. It proves there is earth beneath all this water. Then the comfort turns, because the wall goes down, and down, and down. Your light follows it until the beam is swallowed. No base appears. The rock is not a floor, it is another side of the fall. A vertical surface beside an abyss so deep that even stone seems to be sinking with you. You move along it slowly. Small animals cling to cracks in the rock. Pale sponges, thin worms, tiny brittle stars with arms spread across the stone feeling the current. Life has found even this wall. It holds on where you cannot. The sight is strangely intimate. These creatures do not need much. A crack, a current, a little falling food, a surface narrow enough to cling to. They live on the edge of a darkness that, to them, is not terrifying. It is simply home. For a moment, you almost envy them. They know where they belong. You do not. The wall bends away. The current carries you from it before you are ready. The last visible rock slips out of your light, and once again the ocean opens on every side. This is the fourth change. Even real surfaces cannot save you if they do not stop the descent. A wall is not a floor. A ledge is not safety. A visible thing is not the same as a way back. The current releases you. You drift into slower water. Everything becomes still again, but now you no longer trust stillness. The brine pool taught you that calm can hide a system. The false floor taught you that surfaces can fail. The wall taught you that even rock may only guide you deeper. And yet your body is tired. Fear takes energy. Orientation takes energy. Hope takes energy. The ocean has been quietly spending all three. So when the water becomes still, you do not fight it. You let yourself hang in the dark. The pressure remains. The cold remains. But the panic begins to loosen. A strange thought arrives. Maybe the horror was never that the ocean has no bottom. Maybe the horror was that you needed one. The deep sea has never promised an ending. It has never promised a floor, or a map, or a final place where everything makes sense. Those were human ideas lowered into the dark. The ocean simply continued beneath them. You drift. Your breathing slows. The particles around you move so gently now that they barely seem to move at all. Far away, a few lights flicker and vanish. No swarm this time. No clear formation. Just brief signs of lives going on without you. The abyss is not empty. It is indifferent in a way that feels almost sacred. That indifference begins to soften the fear. If the ocean is not trying to frighten you, then your terror belongs mostly to the parts of you that still remember land. The feet looking for ground, the eyes looking for horizon, the inner ear looking for a direction it can trust. All of those parts are still working, but more quietly now, as if one by one they are becoming tired enough to sleep. Below you, if below still means anything, the darkness deepens again. A faint basin appears, but you do not react the way you did before. You do not call it a floor. You do not trust it. You simply watch it form at the edge of your light. It is wide and soft-looking, covered in a thin layer of sediment. A few animals move slowly across it, leaving tiny marks that will be erased by the next fall of marine snow. This place might be real ground. It might hold your weight. It might continue for miles. Or it might end at another drop 10 meters beyond what you can see. The difference no longer feels as important. You descend toward it, slowly, carefully, without expectation. Your feet touch the sediment. This time there is no relief, only contact. The surface compresses gently beneath you. A small cloud rises around your ankles and drifts away. Nothing opens, nothing tears, nothing reveals a new abyss. For several seconds you stand, actually stand, on some quiet part of the deep ocean floor. After everything, the stillness should feel like rescue. Instead, it feels temporary, because now you understand the truth. A floor is not the end of the ocean. It is only one of the shapes the ocean takes for a while. Beneath it, there may be cracks. Beside it, a trench. Inside it, chemistry. Above it, currents. Around it, life that has learned to survive without ever needing the world to be simple. You look out across the dim sediment. There is no horizon. Your light fades before it can reach far enough to create one. Small animals move at the edge of visibility and disappear. The water above you is so vast that your mind cannot hold it. The water below may be rock, or fluid, or trapped salt, or another system waiting in darkness. Nothing here feels final anymore, and because nothing feels final, the fear loses its sharpest edge. The body wanted an ending. The ocean gave it continuity. The mind wanted a bottom. The ocean gave it layers. You lower yourself slowly onto the sediment, not because it is safe, because for now, it is there. The deep accepts your weight without response. No seam appears. No black lake opens. No current pulls you away. Only a faint cloud of pale dust rises around you, then settles back into the dark. You sit at the edge of the abyss, surrounded by pressure, cold, and the slow rain of the upper world. The video began with the terror of falling through the floor, but now the greater truth is quieter. The ocean floor was not missing because there is no seabed anywhere. It was missing because the idea of one final bottom was too simple. The deep sea is not built like the maps in our heads. It is layered, moving, living, leaking, feeding, dissolving, and continuing. A floor can be a skin. A lake can be a trap. A wall can be another side of the fall. A calm place can be the most dangerous thing in the dark. And a bottom can be real without being final. You close your eyes. The darkness behind your eyelids is almost the same as the darkness outside them. Your body still feels the pressure. Your mind still remembers the false floor opening above you. But the falling sensation is gone, not because you found a true end, because you stopped asking the ocean to become one. Around you, the abyss continues. Marine snow falls somewhere far above. A brine pool waits in its black basin. Living lights blink in the water column. Hidden currents move slowly through the dark, carrying cold water across distances too large for sleep to measure. And far beyond your small circle of light, the ocean remains what it has always been. Not empty, not still, not finished. Just deeper than the human need for an ending. Your breathing becomes slower. The sediment settles. The last moving particles drift beyond your light. There is nothing left to prove now. No final floor to find. No last door to open. Only the quiet knowledge that beneath every ending we imagine, the world may continue in ways we were never built to picture. You thought you had reached the bottom. Then the bottom opened. You thought the next surface might save you. Then it became a lake that could keep the dead. You thought direction would guide you. Then up and down began to dissolve. And now, at the end of the descent, the ocean gives you the only answer it has ever given. Not a wall, not a warning, not a final line. A silence so large that even fear has to become quiet inside it. You rest there in the dark. The deep does not explain itself. It does not welcome you. It does not reject you. It simply continues. And for the first time, that is enough.